top 10 hottest comics of the week based off of cover prices data. That's right. Cover Price releases a list, a top 10 hottest comics list. I've had too many Boddingtons at this point, I think. A top 10 hottest comics list on Monday. Our show is on Friday. But we like to dissect this list. Not only dissect it, Chris picks out the 3 books, sometimes more than that, but 3 choices that stick out to him in this specific top 10 list. And here we go. We are going to read that list to you.
Let's do
At
it.
number 10, we got Star Wars Tales from the Clone Wars webcomic collection trade paperback. Number 9, we have King in Black, GWENOM vs. Carnage, the INHYUK Lee 1 in 25. There's some beautiful covers with that number 1. At number 8, we have Serial number 1. I'm seeing a lot of postings on that one. Number 7 is Amazing Spider-Man number 55. This is, I think, 3 or 4 weeks going strong with that iconic cover. It's iconic. It's been out for less than a month. Number 6 is Future State Teen Titans number 1, the Dustin Gwen B variant, which has that character from Go Titans, the Red X. At number 5 is Star Wars The High Republic number 1, the cover A. Number 4 is Star Wars The High Republic, the Hans variant, Stephanie Hans variant. This seems to be the winner out of all of the variants that we've seen from Star Wars. I think that cover B is the winner in my opinion. I like that cover more than others. And number 3 is Port of Earth. Number 1, Image 2017. And number 2 is number 1, Image from Image Comics. That is a hot book with clowns. At number 1 is Future State Teen Titans number 1, the A variant. All right, Chris, now that we just recited all 10, you're going to get into the 3 most interesting issues you see from this list. Let's go for it.
Yeah, I want to give a big shout out first and foremost before I go into my 3 to the independent books that made the list this week. We haven't had independents in a few weeks. Marvel's been just killing it. It's been hard for DC to get on there. So big shout out. I always want to support independents for doing their things, guys. But there's 2 things that I wanted to focus on with this list, guys. One is just the craziness of Star Wars. And this goes into my number 3 pick. I picked Star Wars Tales from the Clone Wars webcomic collection. This is a trade paperback, guys. This book is like doing things that I've never seen before with trades. Now let's get one thing straight. Let's put it into context. This book is a collection of individual issues that were released via online as ebooks. All right, they were not published as single issues. So that's why this trade has been getting hot. It's got the first appearance of Cade Bane, the first canon appearance of Ahsoka, which this is really confusing to me. And I wish we had him here today because I know he could really break this down because, you know, I just, this whole canon thing right now is a bit of convoluted mess to me. It's hard for me to figure it out. Okay. Any diehard EU Star Wars fan is probably going to say the same thing. It's making my head hurt. But anyways, moving on. You know, it's got first canon appearance of Captain Rex, origin of General Grievous, first unmasked General Grievous as well. So this book, guys, sold for $500 raw for a trade paperback. Who says that trades aren't collectibles, guys? But like I said, it is unique because, you know, it's a collection that was not released in floppy single issues. First, before this, it just goes to show, guys, Star Wars is going crazy right now. And I thought it was really cool to see something like really different and really interesting on this top 10 list, you know, because really we deal with single issue comic books. This is a trade paperback. And it's up there, and it's sold for $500 raw. That blows my mind.
This is our 36th episode we've done. All right. It's not, you know, in the grand scheme of things, yeah, it's not that much. But 36 episodes we've done, and we've done this top 10 comics list every episode. We've never covered a trade paperback, let alone a trade paperback that went for $500. Yeah. Are you kidding me? I mean, is Star Wars hot? Is it fair to say Star Wars is hot?
Telling you, man, it's like blue flame, white flame hot, you know.
Insane.
Yep.
Speaking of Star Wars, That's me teeing you up for the next one, Chris.
Yeah. So, okay. So I do got another Star Wars book on my list. I want you guys to focus on two things for these two books, though. Okay. My number 2 and my number 1 picks. And that's Burnout. We're going to talk a little bit about Burnout. Because remember, guys, I don't pick top 3 just based on, oh, these are selling for the most money or these were number 1 in units sold. I like to really look at a different, multiple different variables of why these books are hot and trending and so forth. And then I like to talk about them. But number 2 is Star Wars The High Republic number 1, okay? Now, obviously, this was my number 1 pick last week. All the variants were up there in the top 10. It dominated. It sold so well. But then we go into the second week, and it's still at 110% increase in sales, guys. That is big. That is big. How do you top your first week and top it by, getting another 110% increase? Blowing my mind here, guys. A high CGC sale, 9.8 sold for $150. Look, Star Wars. I just said it before with the trade paperback. Star Wars is going nuts. But here's what I want you guys to focus on. Is what is happening with this book going to cause some type of burnout? All right. Now let's pause on that because I want to talk about my number 1 book before I go into that. Jeff, you got any comments to add to that?
I mean, no, the fact that this has increased in sales 110% is kind of insane. Like that's kind of unheard of for the number 1 book from last week. Right. And I only see up and up for High Republic, especially because the Acolytes, the series that they announced at the Investors Day, Disney's Investors Day, is going to cover part of the High Republic or some sort of it. So maybe we'll see some of these characters. Once we start hearing word on what that's going to be, I mean, Jesus, this thing is just not going to stop. And, we're hearing crazy numbers already for second and third prints, as well as second issues and variants that haven't even come out yet. It's blown all of our minds. And I feel like it's something we haven't seen before, but I'm teeing you up for what you want to talk about with this number 1 pick here. So go for it.
Let's go with number 1, guys. Now, again, big shout out to DC. Lots of Marvel competition with Marvel and Star Wars material. My number 1 pick is Future State Teen Titans number 1. This is the first appearance of the Future State Red X in cameo, last page cameo. Highest selling book in terms of units sold for the week. All right, and a high raw sold for $24. All right, I picked this book because I wanted to showcase the fact number 1 highest selling book of last week, and it's selling for $24, and it just came out. I believe the cover price $5.99, if I'm not mistaken. I was in a Facebook chat forum just this week about how all this stuff is ruining comics. We know that a first appearance is coming. People are buying this comic because they don't want to read it. They just want to speculate and buy 20 copies and flip it because, this character Red X is appearing in cameo and stuff like that. And the price is being boosted up to $24. It's a popular opinion that when that happens, and if the price goes down, it's going to cause burnout for collectors and it's going to destroy the hobby. Here's what I have to say to that, guys. This has been going on for decades. People hype up books. Right now, maybe it's Key Collector. All right. 5 years ago, maybe it was previews. 25 years ago, maybe it was Wizard. 35 years ago, maybe it was Overstreet articles or just sitting in your comic shop talking to the LCS workers about what the next hot book's going to come out is going to be. Because I know when I was in the 80s, I knew when Venom was coming. We knew when Carnage was coming. We knew so much about those books back then that Marvel had the second print silver covers waiting. They had them waiting. Guys, this has been going on forever. And I'm telling you right now, the majority of collectors are not getting burnout. You know who's getting burnout? The people getting burnt because they miss out. People that are buying these books when they come out and they're paying 10, 15, 20, 25, $50 for a book that just came out the day before or the weekend for, like the Amazing Spider-Man 55. Do you know, even if those prices come down, and we can look at even High Republic, even if those prices do drop, I would like to know how many of those collectors that pay that much money are going to be burnt out and are going to want to leave the hobby because, well, I paid $25 for this book. Now it's only worth 10. You know how I would answer that? None. Because you know what they're going to do? They're going to sit on the next book that's going to be sitting hyped up, and they're going to go spend $25, $50 on that one. And they're not going to care because they're going to keep doing it because that's how they enjoy the hobby. That's how they enjoy it. Not you, not me, them. And they're going to keep doing it. The only people that are getting burnt are the ones mad sitting at home because they didn't read the previews book that told them that there's a new Star Wars book coming out and it's going to have a whole shitload of first appearances in it. And they didn't go buy it at 35% off cover price or call their LCS and tell them to put it in their pull list. They're the ones that are hopping on social media saying, $25 for this book. People are going to get burned and they're going to spend that money. And then when it drops back down to $10 your cover price, they're going to be mad. It's going to ruin the hobby. No, they're not. They haven't for 30, 40, 50 years.
Yeah, absolutely. Here's the deal. Oh, look at the Comic Forge is here. I just want to say what's up to the Comic Forge. Thanks for joining us. Here's the deal. Peak heel, pump and dump. I'm just wondering if he's referring to Star Wars there because I don't see a pump and dump situation here at all. I don't see it with High Republic at all. I see this only. I mean, who knows? We could be wrong, but I'll tell you, time will tell. But I think time will be on the side of the Star Wars and all of the fans who are not comic book fans that are going to be dying for these issues. I'll tell you that. And all transparency, I have a few issues of all of the covers, which is fine, but I have no agenda here, right? I'm a huge fan. I'm excited for where this is going. Chris and I have always said there's more meat on the bone with Star Wars, and it will only get more popular. It will only get more popular because of us old heads who have enjoyed it from day one to my 5-year-old daughter who now enjoys Star Wars. We watched a ton of Baby Yoda videos this morning. She knows every character, and she's a Darth Vader fan. She's 5 years old, so it's not going anywhere. But with this specific title, time will tell.
Yeah, I have to echo that with Star Wars. Star Wars is its own beast right now. It's doing something else. But when we talk about, these books getting hyped up and, being sold above cover price, literally like on Wednesday, the day they come out or the days following, and the whole pump and dump thing. Like, look, I really think, pump and dump, that term to me is like calling any corporation, a bad business or something just because it's a corporation, just because it's had success. Here's the thing with pump and dump. You and me have as much capability of buying 20 or 30 or 40 or 50 or 100 copies of a book. We have just as much ability to buy multiple copies of a book at 35% off cover price. Mm-hmm. I could, if I wanted to. I read the previews book. I knew previews come out 3 months. The books come out 3 months before the release of the book. They pair up when previews orders from my comic shop, Midtown, and all these sites release their preview sales at 35% off. I sit there with my previews books while I'm doing my previews order 3 months before they come out. I easily could have went and put 20 to 30 or 50 books of High Republic in my cart and got them at 35% off. And then once I had them, I could have done what I wanted to them. So this idea of pump and dump, and I'm not trying to point fingers at anybody right now. Call it what you want, but look, it's a free market. It's a free market. So if you don't care about owning multiple copies of a book for whatever reason, If you don't care about owning multiple copies because you want to flip and make money, and all you care about is owning a copy because you're a simple collector, maybe you want to read the book, or maybe you just like Star Wars and you want at least one copy of the book, then you should have no problem with somebody else buying up a bunch of copies with other people, hyping it up to where after the day of release, it's a $20 book. You should have no problem with that because you already secured your one copy from your local LCS or from your previews orders. I'm sorry.
Yeah, if you're don't hate the player, hate the game, 100% Comic Forge, because if you're that big of a comic book or a Star Wars fan, you know good and well 3 months in advance of this, not even 3 months in advance, we're talking 6 months in advance, that this comic book, this High Republic, this series is coming out. It is on you. If you don't get your issue, if you think you're just going to walk right into the store, 2 days after New Comic Book Day and going to pick up your, that's on you. You make sure it's on your pull list. You make sure you get it online. You have many ways of finding out where and when you need to pick that up. I'll tell you what, there are also some outlets that are selling these for 99 cents. Westfield Comics is selling these for 99 cents. They are not guaranteeing these orders. They're trying to fulfill every one, but they're trying to get those variants out there to make even more money. So guys, it is on you. So you cannot complain if you don't pick this up.
Yeah. So, hey, I know we're talking about top 10 and hot books, but I like to dive into these things because we're not just sitting here saying, oh, this book's hot. We got to add context, and I'm not going to add context like anyone else. I'm going to add my own context. I talk about it how I like to talk about it. And this goes to the state of the hobby, the health of the hobby. And, even though I may it may seem like I'm kind of getting aggressive to a certain population of collectors, right? That may disagree with me or may believe in this, pump and dump hype, or maybe they really think this is ruining the hobby. This isn't good for the hobby. I know I get passionate, and I know I like, I get the way I get, and I talk about it the way I talk about it. But I really talk about this stuff because I want you guys to really question your own, belief system, and to educate yourselves on a business level, and to really look in the mirror and reflect on why it bothers you so much. Where all these, the industry's dying and all this stuff. I really want you to reflect on that. This book being hot, Teen Titans, let's talk about the Teen Titans Future State book being hot because there was a cameo first appearance and it's already selling for $24 a week after the release. Doesn't bother you. It does not get in the way of how you want to collect. And if you really feel aggravated by it, you really have to ask yourself why. Because I'm going to end on this note, guys, by saying this. Everything that a lot of these people are pointing fingers at, pump and dump, or, all these new books already being sold at, above cover price. And it's just speculators buying multiple books and all this stuff. And, apps like Key Collector hyping it up and all this stuff. If all of that went away, every single book that you own right now, you'd wake up tomorrow and they would be worthless. So I'm going to tell you right now, if you really think like that, if you really hate, speculators and people buying books and the fact that the market puts a book at $25 a day after it release, if you're really mad at all that, then you would be 100% okay going to bed tonight, getting all comfy, getting on your nice, pillow, getting covered up in the blankets. Maybe you put on some of that tranquil meditation music and you get the best night's sleep of your life. And that means you're going to be okay waking up in the morning. Oh, today's a great day because every comic book I own is now worth a penny. Think about it, guys. Think about it.
All right. And that is our top 10 hottest comic books of the week.